So this might seem hard to believe, but somebody recently purchased a baby shiny Noibat, this card right here, from the Hidden Fates Shiny Vault for $61. This is not an expensive card. It's not anywhere close to $61 in value. I'm not entirely sure how this happened. I got a little bit of an idea, so we're going to do some investigative work together in this video. I'm going to tell you how I think this happened. So I think this is going to be maybe eye-opening for you guys, especially if you're interested in the direct program of TCG Player at all. So let's hop in and I will show you the sale. But what's up? If this is your first time here, my name's TJ. I run a business called PokePaster TCG, where I buy and I sell tons of Pokemon cards right here in my basement. I primarily sell singles, but also I've got a decent amount of sealed stuff for sale right now. If you guys are ever interested in checking out what I've got available, I always try and sell things to you guys, viewers of my channel, 5% under market. You can check out the link below. But believe it or not, we're closing in on 4,000 subscribers on this channel. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey. This is simply a pastor in his basement yapping into a camera about this silly cardboard Pokemon card business that he started. And so, yeah, I love that I get to help you guys start your business and document a little bit of my journey. So seriously, thank you for watching. And if you have not subscribed yet, would love for you to subscribe because we are closing in on, again, 4,000 subscribers. Just seems crazy. So yes, this Noibat sold as part of the direct program. Now, I've said this a few times on the channel, but I'll try and do a TLDR or a quick speed run of the TCG Player Direct explanation of what this is. So I sell on TCG Player. Most of the time when you sell a card on TCG Player, someone buys it from you, you ship it to them, easy peasy. However, once you get a certain amount of sales or hit a certain amount of sales, you can opt to join the TCG Player Direct program, which is a little different because you sell a card, and when you go to send that card to the customer, you don't send it to the customer, you send it to TCG Player, because right when you made that sale, TCG Player sends a card from their warehouse to the customer, and it happens very quickly and it's guaranteed. And so customers oftentimes pay a premium for a card through the direct program. Except for, I'm pretty sure that sometimes people don't even know that they're buying a card from the direct program when they're shopping on the website, because the direct stuff is always at the top of the site. I'll show you what that all means in a second. Anyways, I'm part of the direct program because it saves me time. You do have to pay more in fees for cards to be sold that way, but you spend less time sending out individual orders. I've said this a bunch of times on my channel. Time is the resource that I have the least amount of. I'm a busy guy. I've got kids. I've got this job at a church, which is a relatively large church, and so yeah, I don't have a tremendous amount of time to be sending out orders. I do send out orders. In fact, if you order below, I'll have to send that to you myself. That's totally fine. But anything that I can do to save myself time to focus on other things, it is a huge win. So that's why I enjoy the direct program. But one thing that happens is because there is a service or convenience that people get when they buy a card through this program, sometimes they're willing to pay a little bit more. And I'll show you exactly what that means. So here is our culprit right here, this Noibat right here, okay? Now, let me show you a little bit of the discrepancy that I'm talking about. So, as you can see up here, when someone looks up this card, or any card for that matter, you'll see this, Direct by TCG Player. This means that at the very, very top of the page, the most visible listing is the listing via the direct program. And this is always, what you're going to see up here is always the lowest listed direct seller. So if this seller, Manu Cards, had this listed for $19.25, it would be here. If he had it listed for $18, it would be here. Whatever the lowest listed direct program seller card is going to be what's shown up here, right? Now, what's really weird is you see Near Mint Hollow Foil. The market price on this card is $5.85. So there is a pretty big discrepancy here. So every so often, I believe that somebody who doesn't really know a ton about trading cards goes on TCG Player, looks up a card that they want to buy. They assume that this thing right here, that this price right here is the price that the card is. And to be honest, like, that might seem crazy to you guys, but if you take a step back a little bit and you try and put on your beginner's glasses, right? You're new to Pokemon cards. I could see how someone might believe, oh, that's how much it costs. And then they just add it to the cart, they order it. And so I'm convinced that that's what happened, and that's how my card sold for this much. And if you don't believe me, here is my proof. So I'm going to scroll down to recent sales. This one right here, this $61.96, this is my $61.96 was my sale on October 26th. And how I found this out, I would have had no idea, because I don't really look at the prices that things are selling at when they come through. In fact, I don't really check my email and go through like the sales. I just kind of log into my account and take care of the stuff. And so when stuff sells via the direct program, I typically don't even know that it sold until I get the reimbursement invoice. But I got my reimbursement invoice, and I'm putting all these cards together to send to TCG Player. And as I'm doing that, one of the things that you have to do is you have to take all the cards out of sleeves that are under $30 in value, or that sold for under $30 in value. And so I'm doing that, and I'm taking all these Shiny Vault Hidden Fates cards out of sleeves because most of them are pretty cheap, except for the Noibat was underlined, meaning that it had to be sleeved, or I could sleeve it, which that's not over a $30 card. So then it made me scratch my head a little bit, and it's like, why is this Noibat getting sleeved for a reimbursement invoice? So then I go on, I look in my email, $61, what the heck? So I don't know, someone bought this and another Shiny Vault card for, so I think the total order was like $80 or $70 or something like that. But anyways, crazy stuff. So I saw that. And so the best guess that I can have, okay, this is me putting on like detective goggles or whatever. We're gonna figure out. So I think what happened was, once this card sold, this 1025 card, my rule for the direct program, because I use Mass Price. Mass Price is another tool through TCG Player where I don't actually individually price any of my cards. I set rules, and then depending on the rules that I set, that's kind of like, it runs every single day and prices the cards like that. And so my rule for cards like this is that it's going to be, once this card, card that sold before, for $3.03. There must not have been any other cards that were cheap that were listed, and my guess is that the next cheapest card was $61.97. And I don't know why someone would price this card like that. Sometimes people who are trying to slow down sales, or they're taking a break, instead of shutting their store down, they jack up their prices by like 8,000%, which is crazy, because on the off chance that someone might buy them. So maybe that happened, and then that just happened to be when my rule kicked in, and so my rule came in and undercut that person by 1 cent. That's the only explanation that I can come to, because I don't know why in the world I would have priced a card like this. And in all fairness, if I had the ability to do this, and someone actually bought this card from me and not through the direct program, and there was this much of a discrepancy here, I would absolutely message them and be like, hey, like this card is not worth that much. I would do the refunding. But the crazy thing is, because this is direct program and I don't even interface with this customer, there's no way for me to even reach out and be like, hey, you overpaid for this card, let me fix this for you. Like, my hands are tied, I can't even do this. This happened like maybe one time for me before, to this much of an extent, where I sold, what was it, Team Magma's Groudon EX or something like that, really cool card. But someone bought it for like $200 over what the market price was through the direct program. Once again, not quite sure why. I think sometimes people just don't know. So anyways, I thought this was an interesting story, really weird. Profit margins on that card were a lot, because I picked up that card for like $1 or $2 and it sold for 61 bucks. But so that is one of the perks of selling in the direct program, is sometimes, like even right now, if someone were to come on, if someone were to come on here, they would have the ability to buy this card, or someone very well could buy this card for $19.50, which is quite a bit over market. But that's just one of the perks of being in the direct program, which you do have to pay a lot more fees for, but this is one of the things I would say makes it worth it. Do you think it makes it worth it? Do you think that's weird? Do you think it's okay that TCG Player like puts direct stuff up here at the very top of the website? Let me know your thoughts on this or this entire story. I would love to hear from you down in the comments. And I do a pretty good job of responding to you guys. I do read all of them. So anyways, I do appreciate y'all watching the content. Hopefully you enjoyed this story. But I believe with my whole heart that Jesus loves you, that he has an incredible plan for your life. I will catch you in the next video. Peace.